Hello and welcome to 5-Year Club video number 61, where we will discuss how to break down a potential house payment and then compare it with what our renting options are in a given area. I'm going to use numbers that were suggested to me by a friend, so hopefully it'll help out that friend. And these numbers are relevant for a studio apartment in the Bay Area, near San Francisco, but not in San Francisco. I'm not saying this deal exists right now, I'm saying that's where it came from. So the property was $360,000. 1.25% annual property tax rate leads to $4,500 a year in property tax. If you can make a down payment of $150,000, that means you're going to need a $210,000 loan. 210 plus 150 is $360,000. I don't want anybody on a 30-year if I can help it. Two people should be able to pay down a $210,000 mortgage in 15 years, making good tech salaries. And choosing a 15-year mortgage is going to get you a lower interest rate, say 4% instead of 4.5%. Interest rates vary, so you'll have to look it up. What I do is I plug these numbers into a mortgage calculator. I'm using mortgagecalculator.org. If you go to Google Mortgage Calculator, that's one of the first things that comes up. So we have $360,000, it just cleared the value. That's really annoying. $360,000, not $3.6 million. Loan amount, $210,000. All right, don't touch those. Interest rate, 4%. Loan term, 15 years. $4,500 a year in property tax. No private mortgage insurance, which you would have to pay if you made less than a 20% down payment, which in this case would be $72,000. $150,000 is much greater than $72,000. So no private mortgage insurance that protects the lender against your default. It's pure waste on your part. It's about $75 per $100,000 borrowed. So that is good. It makes things cheaper. I put in $1,000 a year for home insurance and $340 a year for HOA. These are also going to vary. This is about what I pay, and my place is bigger, so hopefully your numbers for this property would be similar. All right. So if we scroll down to the amortization schedule, which is going to break down what the payment is every month. So in this case, the payment's going to be $700 plus $853, $700 of interest paid to the bank, which is all loss, plus $853 of principal, which pays down the actual balance of the loan. So the loan started at $210,000, and $210 minus $853 is going to be $209,146. That's how the loan gets paid down. The total mortgage, therefore, is going to be $700 plus $853, so about $1,553. Of course, the mortgage isn't the only thing that you're paying every month. We're also paying $375 in tax every month, $340 in HOA fees, $83 in home insurance, and those are all the main costs. And now we're going to go back to the spreadsheet, and I'm going to talk about some adjustments that we need to make on these numbers to figure out what the total outgoing money is, what the true value is of the loss every month, really. Okie doke. So at the very beginning, your first payment, again, $853 of that payment is going to be mortgage principal. It's going to be paying down the debt. $700 is the mortgage interest, but you can actually write off mortgage interest on your taxes. So what I've done here is I've multiplied $700 times 0.72. That happens to be the factor for my marginal tax rate. You'll have to look at the factor for your marginal tax rate and do the correct multiplication. So that means that because we get this tax write-off, this tax deduction, we get more money back at tax time, our true loss is only $504 from the mortgage interest. Monthly property tax is also a write-off. This would be $375. Again, $375 times 0.72 is $270. We don't have any private mortgage insurance. Homeowners Association is not a write-off. Home insurance is not a write-off. And I added 1% of the property's total value in maintenance cost per year, and then I divided that by 12. So that gets us to $300. And we're simply maintaining the value of the property there. So this is a loss. we're doing necessary repairs to keep the plumbing in the same condition, to keep, walls or roofs or whatever it is in the same condition throughout the life of the property. That results in a $2,350 monthly payment, and of that $2,350, $1,497 is just complete loss. If we look 5 years out, what we're going to see is that the mortgage principal part of the payment increases, and the interest part has decreased now. So we're actually saving more money because mortgage is going down to pay the loan off compared to just interest that's a complete loss. 10 years, even more is going to pay off the loan. Interest has decreased as a percentage of our payback. And of course, at 15 years, we have paid off the mortgage entirely, so there is no mortgage principal, there is no mortgage interest. I'd like to point out, though, that the total payment that you have to pay every month is going up every year, every 5 years, every month, really. And the reason why this is going up is because as the mortgage interest decreases as a part of the payment, you get less of a tax write-off. And so what we're seeing here is the effect of not being able to write off as much mortgage interest over 15 years. That's why this number is going up a little bit. When we look at the loss number, though, the loss number is going down. So we start out at about $1,500 of loss, and after 5 years, we're only at $1,360 of loss. And after 10 years, we're only about $1,200 of loss. And after we have paid off the mortgage, in this particular case, we have $993 of regular payments that we're going to have to make forever. And this is just going to be, property tax, that's rent to the government. It's going to be maintenance that has to go on forever as part of home ownership. And it is homeowners association fee, which is also, frankly, a lot of maintenance and insurance, just like the other two. It's just pooled together because it covers big structures like the entire building. So you're going to have to pay that forever even if you pay off the loan. Therefore, when we need to note two things. One is that we need to have this amount of liquid cash available to make these payments for 15 years. And, together both people need to be able to come up with about $1,200 a piece to cover the payment on their property every month. Now, an increasing percentage of this $2,400 a month is going to be loan pay down, which is essentially forced savings and is contributing to net worth. For example, by the time you get 10 years in, about half of your contribution every month, $1,272, is going to debt reduction. So that's actually adding to your net worth. And that's good. But you have to have this liquid still to be able to make the payment, because this forced savings is not liquid. You can't get it back easily without selling the property, and selling a property has a lot of costs associated with it, including the fact that your mortgage would reset the next time that you buy a property, so that your ratio between mortgage interest and mortgage principal is going to get worse, and realtor fees are expensive. So when you look at rentals in an area, the number that you want to compare is the total payment minus the mortgage principal, because that is forced savings. That is your monthly loss, and the monthly loss is equivalent to rent. So let's say that you could rent a studio in the area for, say, $1,800. Well, in that case, you're saving $300 a month in the beginning by buying a property. And of course, over time, you're saving more. You're saving $300, and then now you're saving $450 a month, and now you're saving closer to, say, $600 a month. And finally, this is like about $800 a month once you finally get everything paid off to own instead of renting. And of course, I'm not including property appreciation here. That's going to have a factor. I'm not including inflation in here because I figure that your salary is going to go up at the same rate that the homeowners association fee and that the property tax inflate in California. So I'm not worried about those. Into the discussion, though, is really you just need to compare this number to the rental rate. And generally the rent rate's going to be higher, so you're saving $300 a month in terms of the loss calculation. So if you can make this and you're saving money here, then you want to say, okay, I have to hold this property for 10 or 15 years for it to make sense for me to buy. Am I willing to pay a $300 a month premium to maintain flexibility in my life? If you know you're going to be in the area and there are jobs that appeal to you in the area, then maybe you don't care about maintaining the flexibility and you'd rather save that $300 a month. But if you're in an area where your next job could be in a different state, your next job could be an hour and a half away, then it might be worth it to you for your career to pay that $300 a month premium, because your next job might give you $1,000 more a month if you travel to take it. I don't know. It really depends on your career situation. The other thing that I think you want to pay attention to is this $150,000 down payment. You want to say, what is your total net worth? If it's a married couple, what is the married couple's total net worth? And we want this down payment because it represents equity in the home. We don't want it to be like 80% of your net worth, because what that means is that you are throwing all of your eggs into a primary residence real estate basket, which really isn't a very profitable investment. And you're going to suffer some opportunity cost over 15 years from doing that. Instead, we would probably, in the case of, say the total net worth is just this $150,000, we would probably want to say, make the 20% down payment on the property and then invest, so that's $72,000, and then invest the other $78,000 in the stock market just to get some diversity. The point is, you don't want your net worth to be too heavily in real estate. You don't want to get so excited about purchasing a home that you put all of your net worth in the real estate risk category. We want to have more balance than that, even if it is extremely hard in the Bay Area to really get away with anything less than 50% in terms of the percentage of your net worth that's in real estate, because it's just so expensive out here. All right, that's it for video number 61. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions about how these numbers are calculated or any other costs that I haven't included here, please leave a comment and I will definitely answer it. Okay, have a fabulous evening.